Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Mysticons, which we'll be getting into today. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
And April Collins.
Hi.
Today, Delaney and April and I are back to discuss the latest episode of Mysticons, the Astromancer Job, episode 9 of season 1 of Mysticons.
Best name ever.
The Astromancer, yeah. We're talking Mysticons on a regular basis here on the Overly Animated Podcast. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com. New is our Mysticons-specific iTunes feed. It's here. We're committed now. Woo! We have a feed for it, so it's happening. Yeah, you can search if you search for Mysticons on like a podcasting app, or go to overlyanimated.com on the right side. You can click on Mysticons. We also have a logo for it. It's awesome. It's like the M from the show's logo. So. It's all happening, and today we're getting into Astromancer Job, aired on Nick, also put up on nick.com early, so that helped a lot. But we're getting into everything involved in the episode. Spoilers, big plotty episode here, so make sure you've seen this and previous episodes of Mysticons. But let's get right into things here. Delaney, what are your thoughts on the Astromancer Job?
I really liked it. Like, it was really, there was just so much going on. It was very fast paced. I enjoyed, so we got the flashback, and then, they're like, oh, we have to get all this stuff, but then I appreciated that they just kind of, flashed through it, because sometimes it's really irritating to watch episodes like that, because it's I don't actually care. So it was really nice that everything went really quick. The gag with Nova Terran was, hysterical, so that was pretty good. I just liked it. I don't necessarily think it's, the best episode, to watch, but, I was, interested in we got a bunch of kind of mythology dropping, so that was nice. So I liked it. I thought it was a good episode.
Nice. April, what are your thoughts on this one?
I agree, it was a good episode. It was very, very busy, and I was not confused, but I thought we were gonna get a lot of setup for future episodes, but then I was with the, what is it, we went on a quest for all of those ingredients to make a replica dragon disc or whatever, and we just flashed through it all, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're not getting another episode or something out of this, and then it just kept going, and I was like, oh, I felt a little bit overwhelmed, but it was a good episode overall. And I agree, the Brova Terran was the best. He had 5 names in this episode, and then they said Brovon Terran, and I was like, cool, I'm sticking with that one from now on. You set this up.
It's his gamer tag, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ingredients thing, that was reminiscent of me to an earlier Rick and Morty episode this season, to the 30-minute go on the mission. Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I love that. Just flash through a fake adventure. Yeah, I like this episode. This was a good one. Very reminiscent for me of episode 2, in that the plot just moves very fast. We accomplish a lot of things. This show is moving. We are highly serialized, highly connected episodes. Yeah. We had another previously on. That's great. Love it.
I know that. Well, I'm taking those previously ons as an indication that this episode is going to be very plot heavy, which it was. Yeah. So now I'm like, cool. If we get that, then I know what's going to happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's either that or we're just getting them every episode from now on. So we'll see. But I don't know. It could just be every episode is plotty. I will say I would appreciate that. Yeah, there are titles and descriptions out for next few episodes. There are major spoilers there, but there's only one that seems not plotty out of the next 6 episodes. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think this is a good episode. It's maybe not the best of the series. I don't know. If I'd probably have it at number 3 or something, but whatever. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot happening, and I think basically everything in the episode worked.
Yeah.
Including the stupid B plot with Doug, which typically doesn't work with the show. And even like the minor C plot with Gawain, I thought that those were both pretty
They
good.
were pretty good.
Yeah, so
Yeah, they were great.
I appreciated how fast the plot moved. I think the highlight is the very beginning. That was
I really enjoyed that.
That's like my number one on my list. We were talking about, are we going to see the 1,000 years ago Mysticons? I think that's what was meant by there might be something that we talked about on a previous podcast, and I love it. We finally saw one of them. And I'd love to get more of that. And we have a lot of plot movement with Necrofa. That's really exciting. I didn't expect to see Necrofa. It seems like she might be coming,
We heard her talk.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I thought she sounded like she was in a bucket.
She sounded like she was in a bucket.
Yeah, we had a lot of hard to understand voices between Necrofa and like Em in her suit. It was a little bit hard to understand what people were saying.
Yeah.
But I got it for what you were saying. But yeah, that was really exciting, and just some really exciting plot movement at the end with Tasma discovering what's going on here. And it seems, and we have a setup directly towards the next clash for the fourth piece of the Codex. I really liked everything that was happening here. I continue to be very impressed with how plotty this show is. I think that's like its biggest drawing point right now.
Also, it actually, like, what I really like about this is, like, it really feels like I actually feel like there's consequences. So, like, we actually had, like, Zarya messed up, and then and then this happened, and then, like, they can actually use the Codex pieces. Because at first you're like, they're not the Mysticons. It's like when you're a Power Ranger, and, like, someone who's not a Power Ranger picks up the Power Ranger stuff. Like, you can't use it. You're not a Power Ranger. But no, they can actually use it and, like, mess things up. And now it's like an evil red wolf or whatever. So I actually like there's, like, stakes involved. So, like, I think that's a really good, like, a lot of shows, like, kind of in this, like, one, like, the demographic, and then, like, kind of, like, this kind of show, like, the fantasy, and then the kind of, like, Power Ranger-esque, and there's a team, and we have special powers. Like, sometimes they can, like, drop the ball on that, but I actually feel like there's stakes, and it's kind of nice, like, we actually deal with consequences. Because in a lot of times, like, you don't get that in shows like this. So I'm really appreciating this, because, like, I just watched, like, the previous episode, and then I watched this episode, and I was like, oh, yes, okay, cool, there's actual consequences. So, like, that's really nice. And that's what I think that's what the main thing is, like, what I'm really enjoying right now about the show is, like, yes, mess up, deal with it.
Yeah, they actually have to deal with whatever, like, actions that they previously took that landed them in a bad spot. So I appreciate that as well, that, like, because A took place, now you have to deal with B, versus, like, okay, well, A took place, and that's fine, so we're just going to move on to something else kind of thing. But it's like, it's flowing. So, and even, like, what is it? Are they like the High Council or something like that? Even they're like, hey, like, you guys messed up, like, and, like, because of that, like, we're imprisoning Malveron, and, like, you're getting a new soul on, and all of this stuff, like, took place because of what happened. So I like that in a show, especially, like, a kid's show. So you don't see it too often. Most episodes tend to be very, like, single, but these, yeah.
Yeah, it's. I agree. The fast pace and the desire to create stakes, like, they really enhance the narrative that's happening. It does make it feel more real. Like, there's a big narrative progression. Like, I mean, we're on a pace for really bad things happening very soon.
Right.
That's, I think it's really gonna, I mean, I think the big, like, plot tension at the end of this episode is either the Mysticons need the Codex piece that's gone, or Dreadbane needs their too. So it's like, which is gonna give?
Yeah, I wrote that because I was wondering. I was just like, well, wait a second. Like, the Mysticons have two. Dreadbane only has one. Like, are we gonna be, like, get into this like 50-50 kind of thing, like that? I mean,
yeah, and it seems you need it. Yeah, it seems Dreadbane, as we learned in this episode, Dreadbane needs all four pieces to free Necrofa. So something's got to give there. Yeah.
Yeah, at some point he's going to get another piece. I'm already predicting.
Yeah, and I think I mean, we're leading towards the search for the fourth piece. We'll see if that's next episode. But the fast pace, it's really creating great stakes. It's creating good narrative. I do think we're slightly sacrificing the great characterization that we'd established on some of these earlier episodes.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely still think episodes 5 and 6 are kind of a high point for characterization on the show. And I
You
don't.
still had good character moments though. Like M is like the best. Like I love her. Like every time she talks, I'm like I adore you.
Yeah, I
And
think
even Piper. And Piper did have a really good episode. Like I thought, like in the previous episode.
Yeah, we talked last week about how that was the best Piper episode of the series last week, and I think M and Piper in this episode they have their good little moments. Like Piper, she has a bunch of stuff, including like thinking the gargoyles are cute, and just there's a bunch of stuff with her, and then M with like the red flags thing. But they're very small moments. I think maybe Zarya has very little here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're doing a good job interspersing little character moments. It's still, I still think there's a balance to be found between this just rapid fire plot pace. Like, I actually think that we're hopefully going to trend towards moving less fast through the plot as the series goes on. I think that this is just a quick ramping up in the beginning to just get us to a certain point. I still think the plot's going to move fast, but typically we should maybe slow down and give characters some time to breathe. It's also possible we're just on like a mini arc right now, and we will go back to some more character focused episodes. But
I feel like we have to hit like the drama, like we have to hit the wall, and then after Necrofa comes back or whatever, whatever's going to happen, then it's going to start like winding down.
Yeah, I think that's a big question for me are we going to reach a point of stability? Like, is it when Necrofa comes back? Is it when Tasma's the main villain? Something like that. Like,
what's going to be the point that changes the, like, what's going on kind of thing, like, until we hit that balance.
And I'd hope
it seems like we're sprinting at this moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd hope the show still moves forward even when we do have that. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how our narrative progresses here. And we have plenty of time, as we talked about last podcast, 40 episodes, eventually to get through the show. So yeah, I think that's going to be.
We're down to 31.
Yeah, it's going to go by fast. Again, Nick's is still scheduled to double up event in 2 weeks on episodes. So
Oh my god,
yeah, we're going to go fast. But yeah, I think just the rapid plot pace is just a stark contrast to any other show we cover, to be honest. And it's like comparing it to like Miraculous Ladybug. We've accomplished so much in 9 episodes, narrative wise. And I still think the characterization and maybe the overall quality, still, not maybe on the level of a Miraculous Ladybug, but, I'm certainly more into this right now. And like, it creates a great, invested audience, when you have these stakes and this, torrid plot movement. Yeah. So, I think it's going to be interesting to see how we develop as we go along. Let's talk as we've already gotten into a little bit, let's talk specifics from this episode. The intro sequence, we see the original Mysticon Dragon Mage, with,
super cool.
The origin.
I know. I loved her.
Yeah, she's great. The origin of Dread Bane, General Bane. And
so I told you he didn't always look like that, for the record.
Yeah.
He's kind of similar.
He's kind of similar, but I don't know. I thought that over the course of 1,000 years, he would get to the point that he is now, but it happened like instantly. Like,
yeah, the sequence was really, is really engaging. It's really like impactful considering we've heard about the past Mysticons and Necrofa. We get that, General Bane was in love with Necrofa.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, and like Mysticon Dragon Mage unleashes the dragon for the first time, I guess, to defeat, Necrofa. It's kind of a generic battlefield seconce, like in terms of background and everything like that. It's just considering considering the plot build up beforehand, it was very impactful for me. I'm just
really confused. Like, they're still skeletons, and they're the undead, and then there's just this random human who's like in love with like the undead queen. Like, what?
Yeah,
the Lich Queen.
Yeah, she's a Lich.
Yes.
She's a Lich Queen, as we learn later in the episode. I think it might be a Game of Thrones situation where he's the White Walker and the rest of the skeletons are the Whites. So like he's not a zombie. He's like not a zombie himself. He's like a species, but he like makes zombies. I don't know if that's what we're doing, but
it's kind of like, so like Necrofa, like it's like she's probably undead.
It's also not clear what Necrofa is. That's right. Hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just like my only experience with like a Lich King is from World of Warcraft, and like they're like still dead, but they're like more human than like the people they control.
I think that Necropha and Dreadbane are not the same as all the skeletons. Yeah, that's my current opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, 100%.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
So I'm still not over these, like, we're supposed to be really scared of these skeletons, and all they have are, like, sticks. Like, I'm still not over that. It's my favorite.
They're wooden sticks. They pick them up off the ground.
Like, they have branches, and I'm like, I'm so scared.
They see a tree, they get really excited because they've got weapons for, like, months.
Yeah, they're like, I'm lit. There's a tree.
Yeah, we'll go more into the skeleton mythology. But, yeah, Necropha we see, I think her design's great. I loved, her voice was interesting.
I liked it. I liked her design a lot.
She looks it was terrifying.
Yeah, well, and it was very like kind of like reminiscent of like the Samurai Jack style of like art, and so I was really into that. I was like, oh yeah, like this is great, because even in like the newest season, like the Sisters, I really enjoyed like their design, even though it was so basic and plain. But I was like, yeah. Necropha, you are the Lich Queen.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to a potential point in the series where we have Necropha and Tasma as like opposing like villainous forces. Like that would be incredible.
Ooh.
I still think it's possible that Tasma is like a vehicle for Necropha coming back or something like that.
Right.
I think that's in play, but I'd love Necropha and Tasma like butting heads or teaming up. I'd love to see them both at the same time. Anyway, also original Mysticon Dragon Mage, I thought her design was great. I love that she's just like clearly black.
Yes.
It does make me like want more diversity on our current Mysticons. But it's still good. I think she's great. I'm really looking forward to seeing the other original Mysticons as well.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I think we might pace that throughout the series, or maybe we'll get a whole flashback episode. I don't know.
Ooh.
It feels like classic, kind of like fantasy series of this type of trope. It reminds me of the Power of Five series that I've read a novel. Like they have a old equivalent of themselves, and you flash back to the war 1,000 years ago, by Anthony Horowitz. Yeah, I love this initial scene, and it really worked for me. But maybe my highlight of the episode, despite the fact that there's a bunch of cool stuff happening later too.
You know, I'd say I would agree. Like, it was just, one, it's really cool, and, like, we're not used to that. And then, like, it just, like, even though it was, like, kind of silly, like, you know, like, you think of it at, like, face value, you're like, this is kind of dumb. Like, but then, the way it was played out, like, the way, like, the execution of it, it was, like you actually felt it, and it was, like, really good. Like, I thought it was well executed.
Yeah, well executed for sure. So then we have a scene with Dreadbane, and we learn that he needs the 4 codex pieces to open the portal for Necropha. So I think the big revelation for me this episode in terms of that is that the Dragon Disc appears to just be a vehicle for the codex pieces. Like the Dragon Disc does not seem to be important at all.
Yeah. Which is really interesting, because we've kind of been led to believe that
we need the Dragon Disc.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, everyone's like, they're like, we need the Dragon Disc. I need the Dragon Disc. I want the Dragon Disc. And
bring me the Dragon Disc.
Right. and so here we are, and it's like, oh, we can just make another Dragon Disc. Like, all right then. We don't, like, what? I mean, I guess you really just, it's like the puzzle piece. You only just needed to find the actual puzzle. So
it's just like a GPS. That's all it is. Yeah.
I kind of appreciated that they like made another one though, because the way that we had been led to believe, it was like, oh, it's all over now because they have the Dragon Disc. And they're like, JK, we're just going to make another one.
They literally just 3D print anher Dragon Disc.
They 3D printed it. It was amazing.
That's I love that, because it's so it's just the infusion of old school mythology elements, like classic. Just think these stories usually take place in the past, and we've chosen to set this in the future and in an urban setting, and I love that we're doing things with it. Like, we're gonna 3D print a new ancient artifact. That's so cool. Because
this episode's kind of like the perfect like demonstration of everything that is this show, because like we have like this rift in the sky, and there's gargoyles flying out, and they're fighting it with magic. They're trying to close it with magic, and it's coming to attack the city. And then, like, they knock out the power in the Undercity, and now everybody's like, ah!
Yeah, the giant generator.
And then Novateron shows up because his video game got shut off because the power went out. Like, it's so great.
Yeah, Novateron was on Xbox Live, and that's without he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got mad.
So I will say we on our first podcast, I was kind of like ragging on the expansiveness of the mythology and how it was in so many different places. I will say, checking in at 9 episodes, it is really working. They're really doing things with it. It is cohesive. They've legitimized all the elements of it, and like there's a reason for making this an urban fantasy and for like setting it in a future. And having all these like historical mythology elements, and I love like 3D printing the thing. I love them playing video games. Like we're going for it. Like that's a major thing with the show. Like the show really goes for it, and I do think that they've succeeded with all these mythology elements so far.
And we've explored a lot of it too. Like we've explored some of the classism, like versus like Arcana, and then Zarya, and this like lower city area, and then we even got a little bit into when Piper came to the city, and so it's just really neat, like everything that's going on, and I'm about it, like I'm about all of it.
Yeah, about it. Okay, so we visit Novateron, our second Novateron episode. He's back. I was very excited, and he was a major part of this.
I like how they were all just yelling at them.
Oh yeah, I liked that
they're
too.
Very angry. Him and the Astromancers, and we have this like gag of Novateron like liking the apocalypse, or not like being like into it.
Oh, yeah. And then what is it? They're like, oh well, he's seen a few, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
that was really good. I like.
Yeah, I'm not clear if he's just super old or if there's just an apocalypse every 20 years here. But
it could be both.
They're like, whatever, we're overdue for an apocalypse at this point. Like,
yeah, I think it could be either, because kind of an apocalypse happens this episode if just gargoyles come from the sky. That kind of counts.
Yeah, I agree.
So
depends on his definition of an apocalypse. If he's super old, I mean, maybe his definition has changed over the years.
Yeah, I also think it's in play that Novateron's just 1,000 years old and was there for the original flashbacks that we're seeing.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm kind of gathering that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I really like Novateron as a character. If he sticks around as their Solon, which I'm not clear on, after this episode, I'd be into that.
I would be into it too.
Well, I love when he shows up and he's like, we have to declutter everything, and he's just like throwing everybody's stuff like into this other dimension. Like that's the
yeah.
That's how he declutters. It made me think of what is it, the episode, this baby episode in Star Versus.
Yeah, she's just she chucks her stuff into the space portal.
Yeah,
but
like that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, there's a lot of Star in the show too, with like dimensions and stuff like that. But
yeah,
another example of the great infusion of modern and like D&D mythology elements is this knockoff bags thing, like purses later. And there's one with an interdimensional pocket. Like that's another great example.
And everyone was excited about the interdimensional pocket. I'm just saying, like,
yes.
Choco is into it too. Yeah. I wanted to know how that works. Is this a Doctor Who situation where it's like infinite storage in a small place? Are we actually going to a different dimension? Like what? I want to get more into that. And also, how does it work? How did Mathis do that too? Like that's
like how did he get his hands on that kind of?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, we had so I had to mention the Gawain plotline. He's back with his pixie girlfriend.
Who hates him.
Leticia.
She hates him so much.
Thoughts on Leticia?
What?
Oh, she's totally using him.
I don't know if she's using him. Like, she's just there. Like, I don't really know what she's doing.
She's not really using him, but she's just like a teenage girl. Like,
she's just there.
Yeah. She's just there. And Gawain's in love with her.
I love paying this off because we mentioned this in like the first episode. Gawain's like, I'm gonna have a date with the pixie. It's great. I think she's great. I'm Leticia new fave. I need her to do things now. And Em's like a red flag about everything.
Yeah, red flag. That was pretty good.
Yeah. We see the full transformation sequence again. We also saw this 2 episodes ago. I timed it. It's about 25 to 30 seconds. I'm pretty frustrated with this. Do you guys care?
No. It doesn't happen every single episode, though.
Yeah,
like,
that's
the
why it
full
doesn't
length
bother
of
me.
it. Yeah, I think that's the other reason why it doesn't bother me, because, like you even said, it the last time we had a full one was 2 episodes ago, so it doesn't bother me as much, and, like, I'm okay.
Like, it's not Voltron or Miraculous Ladybug levels, so I'm not irritated with it.
It's definitely not Ladybug levels. I
No.
think it's kind of current
why I'm
Voltron
not
doesn't do it every
irritated.
episode. But my plea to this is, if you are going to do the full transformation sequence, do the version with the theme song. Like, it's so much. It's so much
I
better.
agree.
I agree as well. I don't know about the Game of Thrones-esque music behind them transforming. Like, if you're gonna make it magical, girl, do the theme song.
It's just really boring. I don't mind when they do it for 1 or 2 of them. But this full one, it's so long, and it's I talk about this all the time on this podcast. It's not a surprise, but just at least spruce it up with theme song or other music. Music on the show is so good. I don't know. Just do something interesting with it. Like, we can do better with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do better.
Also, any excuse to play the theme song is a good excuse. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sick of it yet.
Was Necrafa always on the thing in the beginning of the theme song, or did that change this episode? Because I noticed that she was on the. I don't remember. I need to go back and look on previous.
I don't
theme
Well,
songs.
she's
remember
been
now.
on it. I think this might be the clearest that she's been on it.
Okay, maybe we're in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe we noticed it more because we.
Yeah, right. I might have just
her.
noticed it because I saw her. Yeah. So. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
like it became obvious.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
before.
we talked about the creating the dragon disc with the different ingredients. They're all from, like, the Place of Doom. I thought that was a decent gag.
Forest
That
of
was
Doom,
pretty funny.
Volcano of Doom, and then they're like, and then we need lightning in a bottle. Oh, you mean from the sky
Yeah.
of Doom? And I was like,
It's so good.
Yeah, that was like Zarya's best moment. But yeah, they need to break into the Celestial Forge to do this.
Ooh.
Yes.
What do you think of this, Delaney, as like a
Ooh.
mythology element, the Celestial Forge?
Well, I really liked that, and I like this like it's kind of tying in like the it's nice to tie in like the past Mysticons in this, and like kind of also explaining the artifact, like why the dragon disc exists. It's because they made it, and it was imbued by like the gods or whatever with the Celestial Forge. I also like that they were like, oh my god, if you mess up, you're gonna open a rift in the universe. And then and then because those people barged in, they made it happen.
Yes,
And then you had
I
to
love
run
that.
in. But like I like it, like, because sometimes they say stuff like that and you're like, oh, it's not gonna happen, like they're just like saying stuff, but then it actually happens. So I enjoyed that. Like, I think it's a cool concept. At first I was like, oh, this really isn't that fancy, and then went like, because they had it and it was a gold or whatever, and it's neat. But then when like Arcana and Malvron were like chanting and like they did it, like that was cool. Like, I liked it. I think it's neat. Like, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little. It seems like sometimes the show just adds another mythology element. It's very fast, and I'm kind of unclear on what's happening. It was a little overwhelming for me. I thought it was fine.
Did they make the belt buckles in it? Like, is that why those are there?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, because we talked about that last time. Apparently, the belt buckles are the source of their.
I'm still shook because I watched that and I was like, "What the heck is that?"
Yeah, we were very surprised about the belt buckles. So yeah, that's
this is like it's Magic Hour all over again.
yeah,
like
that
what the
can
heck?
come out of nowhere. The show, we are definitely praising the show moving fast and handling its mythology well. It definitely throws things out of nowhere at you. I don't think it's like a clear negative, but it's definitely not like a positive.
It's not like it sucks because you're like, what the heck is that? Granted, it gets like they're not difficult things to understand, and then eventually they get explained, or like you can figure it out. Like the belt buckle, it's not that hard to figure out, but like
Right.
it's kind of like, do you have to do this? Like,
Yeah,
granted,
Did it have
I
to
think
be
this
the
is
belt
how we
buckles?
avoided. By that same token, I think it's just more of like it's a consequence of like the first episode's great, and I think the reason it is so great is we avoided the whole we're gonna hand everybody a belt buckle, we're gonna do all this, and this. So like it's fine, but it also kind of seems like, because at first it's like, oh, they all just got blessed with these powers, and now they're in control of it. So it kind of takes the like. It's almost like they had all these episodes and they had this idea, but then they went back and changed the first episode or something, and then now they're like, oh yeah, there's all this stuff that we just forgot to tell y'all.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's possible the first episode's about. We definitely never had an exposition dump episode. Yeah.
Which is like fine. Like I think it's good, especially for like this kind of show. But it's definitely been like weird because like the magic hour and then like the belt buckles.
I like that though. Like I like being sort of almost like dumped into a universe, and then like I slowly like learn what's going on, and it's not like so much like thrown into my face kind of thing. Like I hate that. Like I hate whenever they're like, oh, okay, like here's your belt buckle, like this will turn you into a Mysticon. Like I don't enjoy that stuff, and so I like sort of being thrown into it and then like sort of discovering like, oh, okay, like it's your belt buckle that does it. Like I mean, obviously I have qualms with the belt buckle thing, but at the same time, like I like that about this show is that we're sort of like thrown into it, and then they're giving us pieces of the mythology as we go along, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah. So this show is choosing to portion out its mythology. It's like its exposition dumps over the course of like these intro episodes. It's an interesting choice. Usually people just exposition dump, and like that would have been a bad episode, but we would have gotten everything out of the way. I want to like bring up like two movies to go through these two points of view. Like you have blanking on the Inception. You have Inception, which very much exposition dumps like the first half hour. And the beginning of that movie isn't as good as the end, but the end is so incredible because we got everything out of the way and established all these rules. Whereas two Christopher Nolan movies here to explain it. Whereas something like Interstellar, I think doesn't really like has a ton of mythology elements that are not presented in the beginning, and there's a ton of stuff happening at the end which is just random and stupid. And like if we explained that earlier, it would have worked better.
Right.
The end of Interstellar is so confusing. Yeah. Like I've seen that movie so many times. I'm still like, I don't understand what's going on.
Right. And that's its own thing. It's supposed to be kind of what it is. But it's a trade off here. I appreciate what they're trying to do with portioning out the expositional reveals here. I think it's a little bit overwhelming in the context of this fast paced of an episode, I would say.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of like a John Wick. Like how, again, you're very thrown into this world, but like everything makes sense kind of thing. So it doesn't like, and you kind of like pick up what like things are or like how they work as you go along. So I really I like it in that kind of sense. Like I can appreciate it. I don't feel lost, and it makes me curious to figure out what why this is or how this came to be kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, they're succeeding with this slow reveal of stuff.
I think it was like a brave choice, like in the kind of show that it is. Because like we have a team and like there's this mythology just around who they are. But then like I think it is well executed. Like it's weird at times. Like I'm still not over Magic Hour, but like it's like I mean it's done well. Like I'm not like put off by it. It's just like one of those like what the heck moments.
Yeah, it's well executed. It's just an interesting concept to talk about. The show, it's another kind of like brave choice that the show makes narratively. So I think it's interesting. Getting back to the stuff we haven't talked about in the episode, they do their break-in sequence to what is the place called where the Astromancers are?
The Academy.
The Academy. Okay.
Is that what it's called? I just wrote down Astromancer Lair.
Yeah, I'm not
Lair. That's what they call it, like the Academy.
Also, what's their base called? Is it called the base?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
The really interesting thing though is that you said lair, like the way they show the Academy and then the way they show like Dreadbane's lair, like accurate. Like you're not wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, they seem similar. Yeah, we have the establishing shot of Dreadbane's place the whole time, a lot of times, but yeah, it's. I guess the locations to me are slightly unclear on where everything is, but we I don't know. I think the highlight
where they are in the universe.
Yeah. Oh, and we did this thing where Arcana is like narrating what their plan is going to be, and we see it happening on screen.
Yeah.
And so what I thought they were doing is they were pulling a Tyrion from Game of Thrones this season, where he narrates the plan, and that's what's actually happening on screen. And we it's not just like theoretical plan; it's the literal like break into the castle.
That's what I
and
thought
they take
too.
over.
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening.
But it actually was just a theoretical. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I liked that like it completely like was not what happened, and they were like, oh god.
Yeah, it really highlighted the differences once they did break in. Like we saw the key and the eye becoming the eye scanner. We saw that the bridge wasn't there.
And then like M like almost dropped. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. It's
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
yeah, it made
I liked it
definitely
too.
like in the context of having seen this the opposite thing in Game of Thrones pretty recently. It like seemed like fresh to me. Yeah, they break in. I think the highlight of the real break-in sequence is when they have to use the profile pic of
Yes.
Yeah, to
What kind of security system is that terrible?
yeah, I don't think that's how facial recognition works. I don't think so. You can't
I
just
don't
use a
think it is
picture of
I'm
either.
sure
someone.
it's not how it works.
Yeah, let's take
Like you could easily break in anytime you wanted to. Like just now you have that picture stored.
Here, we are
forever.
pointing out the issues with the iPhone 8.
yeah, no, the iPhone X. Can I get into a new iPhone X? Yeah, by holding up someone's picture. Is that how that works? Is it?
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mysticons.
Yeah, very relevant here.
It's funny. Me and my friends were talking about this like yesterday. Like we talked about this. Like,
The answer is
facial
definitely no. You
recognition.
can't just hold someone's picture up. Like,
I mean, we just don't know.
I guess we don't know yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though we talked about the whole thing with Novateron with the video game decluttering the base. The Astro, I call this the Astro Mage forging scene with Arcana and Malveron. I felt like this was their biggest ship moment yet. Like they're holding hands.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Like you're forcing them together. I got this. Like
it wasn't really played as romantic.
It wasn't, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you don't understand how connected we actually are.
Yeah, we're in the celestial.
like,
Well,
form.
I thought when they were writing Arcana's Griffin was a lot like more shippy.
I think the show for me hasn't really done a romantic moment yet. There hasn't been anything that's been overt.
No.
It's all been like kind of romantic subtext. And this is the only reason we interpret this as
It's
romantic.
just us
is
interpreting
yeah,
it.
it's just because we expect the show to do this. Like this is like the
Yeah.
couple that we expect the
Yeah.
show to do. So it's just because they also have less just like
In Arcana's diary.
yeah, and also
In
yeah, well, because
Arcana's
this a boy, right? So
Yeah.
that's true. That's the one thing. But yeah, because they have like a bond that's like not romantically entrenched. So I think that was nice, even in the context of their of their friendship. Yeah, that was an interesting scene. Everything with the gargoyles attacking. I think the highlight is like, first of all, her mech suit for the third episode in a row.
Yes.
I guess that's a constant now. Like I didn't think episode 6 after that we'd bring it back. Not only have we brought it back every single episode since then.
And she goes, suit up. Like,
Yeah.
okay, Iron Man.
Yeah.
She is a literal tank, you guys.
Yeah.
She's literally a tank.
And she
It's great. I
she
love
like
it.
magnets the train.
Trey.
Yeah.
And then I like when she's like, I guess I'll just stay here.
Yeah, that was good.
Like, no, just leave.
Yeah, they close the portal by unleashing the dragon. She says fly,
I really
fly
love when
Phoenix,
she's like-
fly.
Fly.
Not unleash
Well,
the Phoenix.
Well, I really like when she's like, when Arcana is like, don't tell me to, like, don't silence me. And she just, like,
Oh,
breaks out.
yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was nice.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is the best girl power moment. I'm all about this.
She is a force to be reckoned with, you guys. I can't wait for her to become queen.
She's gonna blow
But
it up.
Gawain is the king, though.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
With his, pixie.
I'm still questioning his what
his
is it?
legitimacy. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's no way.
Yeah, it's what's with Novateron's like timeout bubbles? It's like it's
For
the
real,
timeout
like-
bubble.
Yeah, okay, it's officially the timeout bubble. I accept
Yeah,
this.
I'm accepting it too. I'm writing it down.
Malveron seemed to be stuck in there. Like I don't think he could, and maybe he was just accepting his
No.
punishment. I guess.
He was just like,
Yeah.
I like when he was like, Scryfy. Like,
Yes,
oh
yeah,
my
Yeah.
God.
Scryfy. Yeah, that's me in that situation. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess they have Scryfy and glyphing is texting. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, they closed the portal. Yeah, so we talked about how we thought it would be Unleash the something else, but this time I like Fly Phoenix Fly better. Let's go with that.
Well, it's nice not
Yeah.
to have them all say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean they did say Unleash the Phoenix before, but let's go with this now. And maybe what would the unicorn one be? Stampede unicorn. Like I don't know what.
Run, unicorn.
Impale with your
pierce
horn.
the
Yeah,
sky,
pierce the
unicorn.
sky. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay.
Oh God.
Uh,
It's M. She's gonna say something like absurd.
yeah,
Like,
pierce the sky.
I
would fit, I think.
know. Pierce
it's
the
gonna be so
sky.
dramatic.
Yeah. And then we learn, everyone's going after the next Codex piece, so that's what's happening. At the end, Tasma discovers this Necropha portal, and she's like, she's alive. Dun, dun, dun.
Also, Tasma, like, honey, I thought you were smart. Like, this was not that hard to figure out. Like,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we'd been seeing it, but I guess she's just never there for when Dreadbane monologues about it. But
yeah, that's fair. When he monologues about it.
Yeah, so my interpretation is that Necrofa is trapped in her necklace.
That's what I was thinking, because like I was the emphasis on the necklace in the beginning. I was like, "What is it?" And then like he put it on, and that's what made him the way he is.
Yeah, so
that's fair.
It's interesting because she seems trapped in there, but yet she's in. I think that she might just be trapped in like the necklace's dimension, and then the portal can also access that. But also, the necklace does turn Dreadbane into what he is. So it's possible that this is an ancient evil artifact, and that's like the source of all of the evil. That's like those are like the children of the forest. That's the necklace that turned the White Walkers into what they are. It's all the necklace's fault.
Yeah.
It's all in it. Also, it seemed really interesting that like Tasma was really concerned that Necrofa's still alive. Like, did anyone else pick up on that? Or was it just me?
I think Tasma's like in it just for the power, and now she's like, oh wait a minute, I'm not about this whole like let's end the universe thing.
Yeah, it's definitely up for debate what Tasma's next move is. Is she okay with this? Does she just want to go along with reviving Necrofa?
Well, she was gonna hide it from Dreadbane, like when she like had like the dragon disc, but it was a fake.
Yeah, I think my interpretation is that she's gonna be not okay with this with
right, same.
Yeah, with Necrofa coming back. I think probably she won't team up with the Mysticons to defeat Necrofa, but that's why I kind of see her as like an opposing third party, like.
Yeah, like, I would agree.
Like she's a villain, but she's not on the same side as Necrofa Dreadbane.
She's like the other main villain kind of thing, like that we'll discover.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy, like I'm one of the idiots who live here. Like I don't want this to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. Yeah, it would inevitably affect her. Also, I want to point out the Necrofa Dreadbane stuff in this episode is a reverse Voltron, reverse gendered Voltron. With with right. Everyone's Hagar and so it's I like that we're bringing Necrofa back and Although I think she's the cool one, whereas the I don't know. Anyway, whereas Hagar's the cool one there. So that's all I got. Anything else from the episode you guys wanted to hit on?
It was just really cool.
Yeah, pretty thumbs up.
It was good.
Also, the title of the episode's great because it's like The Italian Job, and that's like my favorite movie, so I'm really happy.
Thumbs up. Yeah, are we just doing Rick and Morty now? We're gonna have all title reference, movie title references next week. A Walk in the Park. After Zarya,
I bet the episode's not A Walk in the Park.
After Zarya gets hit by one of Tasma's spells, the Mysticons have to seek out Malveron's aunt to help them break the curse.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes.
I bet she's gonna be like the best character. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for this. Like
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be like that Avatar episode where Aang's like, well, gotta go get all the frogs.
There's also Lego elves. This reminds me very directly of. There's a lot of. You guys would be surprised how much there's similarities there between Lego elves recently released on Netflix and the show. It's a very similar show. But anyway, there you go. That's our recap of the Astromancer job. Let us know what you thought about the episode in the comments on YouTube. A lot of views on YouTube for our Mysticons pods. Thank you guys. Subscribe to us there to not miss any Mysticons podcasts. You can leave comments and give us a thumbs up. You can also go to our Mysticons specific iTunes feed, as we talked about, leave reviews there and in our main feed. And we also have joined us for the discussion on Mysticons on our new Discord, overlyanimated.com/Discord to text chat with us about Mysticons. Shout out to Crispy on the Discord who found the episode on Nick.com early. That was very helpful. And just gotta always check whether Nick's screwing up and releasing stuff early. So that's what we're doing. They should. Please, Nick, continue to put the episodes online several hours early. That is very helpful.
I agree. Please do it. Do it for me. Do it for April.
Do it. So we can get the podcast up right away. Anyway. What else we got? Overlyanimated.com for all of that. Consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Hope, aka Katara, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Andy. a bunch of stuff coming up on our podcast. We'll be back, Mysticons. We might be weekly. I'm not going to guarantee any specific week, but we're going to try for, weekly-ish. So might be back next week to discuss Walk in the Park. And also, we just finished up our BoJack Horseman coverage. It's an adult show, you children. So, but yeah, we finished that up. We have Rick and Morty, another adult show, coverage continuing. And looking for some Starverse discussion. There's news on Starverse, so that's very exciting. But yeah, all that at overlyanimated.com. Thanks, guys, very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.